you can upload it to YouTube later.
This is on YouTube.
Oh, we're on YouTube live? We're done.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have you guys talk.
Is this link you just tweeted out? Is that right?
Yeah. See if it's right.
What do we see?
You're gonna all come up and pull.
Or my fishing strip.
Tell me if it works. We got 2 viewers so far. Just want to make sure it works. We're on live streamed on YouTube.
Are you wearing pants, Sam?
I am not. The special deal, having the bar cover my waistline.
We take off our.
Yes, everyone should have their pants on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for the first ever. Hold on a second. Are we all off? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and joining us for the SWBL, the first ever, not first ever, but the first time in a while, the Summer League Draft. Thank you for joining us. All right, so we are going here today. We have a few announcements we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Summer League in general, and then we will get right to the announcing of our teams. We have had some 25 players, to the sum of 25 players that have registered. We can't thank you enough for supporting the SWBL and for coming out every Sunday for this doubleheader league. How this league is going to work, it is going to be, like I said, a doubleheader league on Sunday afternoons. First game will start at 12:30. And we will have 45-minute time limits throughout the game. We'll still play 5 innings, but there are going to be some changes when it comes to this league as well. We are going to have 5 players per team. So obviously 25 players, 5 players per team. If all your players don't show up, that's okay. You'll have to bat less players and you have less fielders as well. But there are 5 innings we'll still play just like the SWBL, and there are going to be 3 outs in each inning. Every half inning is going to have 3 outs. So something new and exciting there. We get more chances to hit. Everyone hits on your team no matter what. You can't sit somebody just because they are horrible at hitting. You have to hit them as well. And then everyone also can play the field. Usually you can pick wherever you want your fielders to go, but we're kind of thinking it's going to be a pitcher, 2 infielders, and 2 outfielders. There's a lot of non-base running leagues that do this. And since this league is going to be non-base running, then we're going to have that kind of field set up. Everyone plays the field. Like I said, there's going to be more outfielders obviously behind the pitcher and no base running. So here's how the hits are going to work out. A single is anything that gets by the infielders on a ground ball, or if the infielder can't handle the ball, then it would be a single but an error charged on that fielder. If the ground ball stops before the pitcher, it is an automatic out no matter what. Now that does not include the foul line, the bunt line that we have in the SWBL, but anything in between the bunt line and the pitcher in the kind of like an infield square, and we'll have some markings off there. If it rolls and stops in that little area, it's an automatic out. But everything else, the pitcher or the infielder should be able to get to, and if they don't get to it in time, then it's a single, or if it goes by them. A double is anything that is lined into the air to the outfield grass that is not caught by one of the players on the field. A triple is anything that is lined in the air to the warning track or hits the wall on the fly that is not caught by any of the players. And of course, a home run is over the fence. So there's no base running. We'll preserve our baselines for the Labor Day weekend scheduled season 18. And it'll be just a little bit interesting to see what we do. It'll be really interesting. I'm going to see, I don't know if you guys want to shout out a name, but who do you think is going to be the first person to run to first base?
Spencer.
Peter. Okay, they shouted their own names out. Okay, very good. So it'll be interesting to see who the first person is that's going to take off running to first base, but we'll have to get used to that for sure. Balls and strikes will be the same, including the first pitch strike rule will still be into effect, except that we will have no walks. So from now on, we will have no walks. If you get to 8 balls first, then something fun is going to happen. What was it again? Your teammate gets to lob you 1 pitch, right? Yeah. No matter what. If it's a foul ball, then you get to redo it. But if it is just 1 pitch, but if you end up fouling off that pitch, they'll lob you another one. But no matter what, so if you swing and miss, it's an automatic strikeout. So whatever happens on that pitch, foul balls will redo. Batter must swing at that 1 pitch no matter what. So double plays will also be in effect, and this is going to be an exciting addition to it as well. But if there is a forced out anywhere on the base paths After fielding a ball cleanly, you can get into that ground ball motion, throw to the strike board. If you happen to hit any part of the strike board, including the post on the bottom in the air, it is a double play. So we will also have something really exciting that the front office is developing. It is called a power-up menu. There's going to be a menu that will be at the field that you can look at. And for some smaller fees, you can pay to have any one of these power-ups during a certain amount of time. It could be where you bat with a big black bat for one at bat. It could be you have your teammate pitch to you for an entire inning. It could be where you make the other team bat left-handed. I mean, it could be lots of other cool things. You could have something where you could pay someone to have a beer before they, go onto the mat. Whatever it would be, we're excited to have this power-up menu that you can pay for. Are you required to pay for it? Absolutely not, but it might be a fun fundraiser that some people would like to dive into to make the other team suffer or to make your team thrive on a certain day. I can see this coming into effect really when we get to the last couple of days, when we get to important seeding situations. The power-up menu will not be used in playoffs, though. Just want to make that clear. So just during the regular season. How it's going to work is we have 5 teams, and the 5 team names have been decided by the front office, all based on things that happened during the SWBL weekend. You have the Freeze Pops, very important tradition here at the SWBL. You have the Hot Tub Club. There's a hot tub in the back of the house away from the pool that, if some people know, at the end of the year, there's always people in the hot tub talking about next year. We have what's called the 55ers, kind of like the 49ers of old, but the 55ers, it's because our speed limit is 55 miles per hour. The pesky pine trees. If you never played at the SWBL, there are pesky pine trees all over. There's a pesky pine tree down the line in the left field line, and if you hit it, it's automatic foul ball. And there's also in right field, if you hit it, it's like Plinko. You can keep running the bases until it falls. And then the last one we're excited about, to include a little D-backs love, is the Bombay, with an E, Bombers, the Bombay Bombers. So these are the 5 teams that you might be selected into for SWBL Summer League. Back in the day, we had a full summer league for 11 seasons. For 11 seasons of the SWBL, we had a full summer league. And I take that back. It wasn't 11. I lied to you. I apologize to everyone out there. 2011 was the last year in which we had a full summer league. I got my things mixed up. Wouldn't it have been great if we just started in 2000 instead of 2003? Then it would be much easier to keep track of. But in 2011 was the last full summer league. And in 2011, it was the only league that I could not be in attendance for. But I got to watch live streaming from New York, where I was living at the time. And it was quite exciting to start the franchise era the next year in 2012. And the front office was kind of formed at that time. And the front office consisted of, in the past, it consisted of myself, my brother Gus, Peter, and Andy Oldenburg. And if you remember, those 4 people were in the front office the entire time. And then Andy, after a couple years, his Pirates teams, they left. 2014 ended and we needed somebody to join in. So we added Scott Poley to the reins, making it 5 people. And in 2016, myself joined the Royals. So we couldn't have 2 people in the front office with the same, on the same team. So we added another person in, Spencer Bogad, and it included 5 people in the front office, and I would break a tie if needed for a voting of 4. But we have kept that same consistent recipe on the front office for many years now. It's been 2016 through 2019. It has been the same exact thing. So 4 years of doing the same thing, a change was definitely needed. So we are excited to announce today that we are adding an addition to the front office, and we're going to have him come up now. We're really excited. I got some things to say first, but this person has been a part of our league since the very beginning, a league founder indeed. And something that's been so interesting in this front office is this front office has consistently had award winners, and the teams that all these front office people are a part of have been a part of the playoffs. And it's not really essentially a good balance of where it needs to be competitively and age-wise. So it is very important that we kind of tip the scales in favor of making it more even. So we're very excited to add to the front office. Come on up, Mr. Brett Spencer. Come on up, Brett. Brett, welcome to Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. Yes, welcome to the front office, Brett. And Brett, you've been around since 2003, and obviously, Brett, you have done a lot with the merchandise and all of our apparel, starting the store, the SWBL store, and it's been so great. And we can't think of a better person to join the SWBL front office, because being a part of the Rockies last year and now the Expos this year, you have a direct connection to both of those teams as well. And you're the first person on a team that hasn't been a playoff team. Now, you can include the Athletics in 2016, but you are the first person in the front office that hasn't been on a playoff team. So now this year could change. The Expos could be in it. The arm of Brett is all they needed, and then it could be a totally different story, especially this year with so many changes in our rosters. But Brett, we're excited to join us. And is there anything out there you want to say to the people? You can talk about the merchandise coming out soon, or anything you want to say about joining the front office and giving some Expo love.
First of all, I appreciate everything you're saying.
Yeah, all the people out there.
So nice, and the fans out there,
Yes,
love
there's
them,
been plenty.
love them, love them. But yes, I am excited about the front office. Very excited to be here. Very excited about the merchandise aspect.
Yes.
We have some cool things that are going to be for sale this year.
We got some cool stuff already. We'll give it a show here.
We're going to have some car decals.
Car decals.
You can purchase.
Very good.
We also are going to have some beach towels.
Beach towels.
Fully supplemented.
Yeah.
They're going to be awesome. They come out tomorrow. They will be there this first weekend. And we also have tumblers.
These are great tumblers, double logoed. Yes. And this screws off, and then you have another lid that goes on top, so you can drink mixed drinks. Or you can put down on in.
It's a double. You have to finish for one. You have to do it's a
short koozie cup.
12-ounce can.
It's a koozie can, 12-ounce can, koozie cup, doubles as a tumbler.
Yes.
I think you're selling them for $20.
Yes. Very
and
good.
All that in addition to the apparel that you can get. Polos, hats, t-shirts, yoga pants, shorts, whatever you think of.
Baby onesies. Anything you think of. Brett and his company is going to be a direct connection that we'll have with the front office, and it's going to be really exciting to continue that tradition, not only just in season 18, but we're looking to season 20, have some great ideas and beyond. So really excited to have Brett on board. So Brett, thank you so much. We'll see Brett a little bit later when we get something else that Brett's company, they made this for my new bar that we're building in my basement. And this is a beverage tub. So for BreckX, one of our excellent companies that sponsors us, they are going to be donating 2 of these for a raffle for the players and a raffle for our community on season 18. So this is part of the raffles that we will have coming up. We are going to be using this one, though, with the logo right here. We're going to be using this as picking out who is going to be on which team. We've done a lot of announcements here today so far, and it's been great. And so far, season 18 is still on track. I know you may have seen St. Louis City and St. Louis County just came out with a new thing that said you had to wear a face mask when you are not being socially distant. So we can come up with a plan that we're going to do when we get to season 18 later on. But for now, still plan on season 18 being on Labor Day weekend. Very excited to have you. And make sure, captains, if you haven't got those schedule conflicts, make sure you get them to me as soon as possible. Schedule will be made during the month of July, which started today. So July 1st, we are starting the SWBL Summer League on July 5th, this coming Sunday. So in 4 days, this Sunday, we will be playing at the Blur, and we are very excited to start this summer league. First time we've had a full summer league, like I said, since 2011. So it's very exciting for us. Now, we are going to be playing, since there's 5 teams, every team will play each other in round robin. And we're having a double header league, which means that one team will not have any games each week. So you'll have a bye each week. The schedule will come out tomorrow. I'll have the schedule emailed to every team. So everybody on that team will get an email from me. It will have your schedule, your roster, and everything that you need to know about Summer League. And then you can go online to the SWBL Football website, and you will see a Summer League tab under the home page. You can click on for all your information as well. Now, So the first week will start this week, and then every week after that. There is a bye week for everybody in the middle. At the end of July, we will take a break at the end of July and then get back to it. And then August 16th will be the playoffs for the SWBL Summer League, leading us in 3 weeks later to the Labor Day weekend. So giving us a 3-week buffer to get the Blur up and ready to go before everybody shows up for season 18. So let's get right down to it. Here's how it's going to work. We are going to have one front office member come up and pull for each person in a tier. Thank you to Peter Light, our CFO, Chief Financial Officer, for doing a great job at making the tiers. He kept us in the loop and everything, and I'm going to read out those tiers for you now. We have group 1 that we will pick for first, which includes Ed Lodonin, Steve Hayes, Brian Kenny, Peter Light, and Kevin Poley. All 5 of those players will be on a completely different team. Group 2 includes Kyle Breida, Kyle Cornell, Patrick Gotti, Cam Smith, and Blake Spencer. Again, all of those 5 players will be on separate teams. Group 3, these players will not be on the same team. Spencer Bogat, Jimmy Nelson, Scott Poley, Sam Skibby, and Brett Spencer, 4 of which are in this room right now. Sorry, guys, we can't be on the same team. Group 4, Evan Close, Matt Germer, Chris Overlord, Kevin Weetucker, and Jeremy Worrell. And group 5 leads us to, we call it the rookie group. Keaton Adams is not a rookie, though, but he is the newest one out of all those people that is not a rookie. So we put him in that group. Keaton Adams, Steve Edelman, Cole Layton, Jacob Martin, and Josh Rogers. So we thank Steve, Cole, Jacob, and Josh. They have connections for the SWBL. We know all 4 of these players with a connection, not maybe directly knowing a Skibby, but definitely indirectly knowing from somebody else. But we're excited to get all of these people onto the Blur. Here's how it's going to work. We're going to start with group 1. And we are going to have, let's have Brett come up first because he's the closest one right here. And you're going to pick for Edlo Donnan. Edlo Donnan. And I apologize, I'm not ready yet because, Peter, are you going to write this down for us? Great. So Peter's going to write it down electronically, and we're going to give those to you now. Thank you again for joining us for the SWBL Summer League Draft. Whenever Peter's ready, we'll get it started. Edlo Donnan is first up. Edlo Donnan, joining team. Brett will read it off.
You will be on the Freeze Pops.
The Freeze Pops.
Freeze Pops.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you. Freeze Pops. Edlo Donnan joins the Freeze Pops. We will have next up for group number 1 is Steve Hayes. Coming up, Scott, Steve Hayes.
Steve.
Picking for Steve Hayes. He'll be joining the team. Oh, look.
The Bombay
Bombay Bombers. Oh, the Minnesotans are thinking about Steve Hayes. I assume they're going to be voting for the Bombay Bombers to win. They're going to be really hard for them. But let's get back to it. Spencer Bogat, come on up for Brian Kenny. Brian Kenny. 3 teams left. Brian Kenny will be the first player on
The Hot Tub Club.
Hot Tub Club. Brian Kenny will be wearing a swimsuit for sure for playing. All right, next up, we have the man himself, Peter Light, choosing his own team. It's either going to be the Pesky Pine Trees or the 55ers. Peter, if you had to pick a team, which one would you be going for?
I'm going to go 55ers. I like the number, 76 or 49.
Good. All right, let's see. 55ers or Pesky Pine Trees. What's it going to be, Peter? 55ers. Which means that Kevin Poley will be the first player on the Pesky Pine Trees, the Poley Pesky Pine Trees, if you will. So very good. We have Peter Light getting those names in for us, and I'll have Peter come up and do a recap after everything is chosen, unless you're keeping track at home, which I know many of you probably are with a pad of paper, making your tournament brackets, trying to figure out who's going to win this summer league. Let's get going to group number 2. And group number 2 and group number 3, essentially Peter split the group 2 and 3 up based on pitching. So group 2 and 3 are purely based on these guys could pitch. You have 2 pitchers for a league. Something cool, or for your team. Something cool we're doing in this summer league is we are going to have simple, easy graphics that are going to come out, and they are going to show who the pitching matchups are going to be before it begins. You can't start the same person. So you kind of have to choose when are you going to start that, who's going to start which game. So you have to text the front office and let them know which person is going to be pitching for your team. So at least 2 pitchers are required really for this event. And these 2 groups, the next 2 groups are going to decide where the pitchers will go. So Brett, coming up, you're going to be doing your former teammate, Kyle Breida. Kyle. Kyle Breida is on.
The Bombay Bombers.
Wow.
Hey, nice. All right, Breeds.
So Kyle Breida with the Bombay Bombers and Steve Hayes. I'm glad you guys keep me honest with who's on what team. Very nice. All right, Scott's going to come back up, and you are going to do one of your arch nemesis, Kyle Cornell.
I don't consider him an arch.
I know, it's mainly Brett's arch nemesis. But you love it. It's definitely love it.
Wow. Pesky.
Pesky
Pine Trees.
Pesky Pine Trees. Kyle Cornell joining Kevin Poley on the Pesky Pine Trees. And with Kevin Poley, I have seen him hit this year, and man, what a monster. He is going to be hitting some bombs this year. Summer League and beyond. All right. Next up is Patrick. Yeah,
He has a brother in this league, which I learned about that last year.
half brother.
Brother. I know that.
Not the same last name. That's why it's confusing.
Hot Tub Club.
Hot Tub Club. Patrick Getty.
Oh, that's
MVP. So Rocky and Brewer on the Hot Tub Club, they usually have been, division rivals, now joining together to maybe claim the title at Summer League. All right, Peter, let's come back to you. You are going to be with Cam Smith. Cam was a rookie last year, finished in the top 3 in Rookie of the Year voting for the SWBL Astros, coming back this year, and David Olderman really well. And Labor Day was the best news that the Astros could have ever received because it gave them David Olderman and Cam Smith for a full weekend. And that's really exciting for the Astros to see. And they're going to have a really exciting pitching rotation to complement the other pitching rotations in the league. So let's see where Cam Smith will fall during Summer League.
Cam Smith will be on the Freeze Pops.
The Freeze Pops, which means joining you, Peter, on the 55ers, may be already the front runners is Blake Spencer.
Oh,
That is 2 former MVPs on the 55ers. And I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, in the next group, there are 4 MVPs. So unless Jimmy Nelson gets on the 55ers, that means there will be 3 former MVPs on the SWBL Summer League team 55ers. So this one's going to work a little bit differently. We're actually going to move Jimmy last. So I know we've been doing it in alphabetical order these rounds, but Jimmy's going to pick last. So the 4 of us are just going to pick for ourselves since we're all here anyway. So the 4 of us are going to pick for ourselves, whichever team you want. We're not going to do this one in alphabetical order. So Brett, we'll just start with you. This is going to be for your team. Your team. Will he join his brother again?
I don't know who's on which team.
The Freeze Pops.
The Freeze Pops.
Hello and Cam. All right. Yeah, I believe Brett and Cam is going to be a nice twosome to have up there for and Edlo apparently going to be a nice threesome, on that team because he's going to be a nice threesome with the Twins this year too. So
You got small feet.
Scott, come on up. Scott, now your brother is on which team?
The Pesky Pine.
Pesky Pine.
Pesky Pine Trees. Pesky Pine Trees.
So loud. I hope it's not the Pesky Pine Trees. I want it to be on separate.
The Hot Tub
The
Club.
Hot
With Brian Kenny and Patrick Getty.
Oh, that's a good team so far too. Very good, interesting team so far. Spencer's going to come on up.
Oh, you got 50 pounds. Oh, that's sounding good right now. The Pesky Pine Tree.
Which is Kevin Polk.
Kevin Polk and Kyle Cornell.
And Peter, I'll let you come up and hold it for me. Thank you.
Sam's gonna be on the damn.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready, Peter?
Ready.
It's all nice and mixed. Okay. It's one or the other 50-50 shot of being on the team, but it is the Bombay Bombers. That means it worked out that no people have 3 MVPs. Jimmy Nelson joins the 55ers, Blake Spencer, and Peter Light as well. Who's on the Bombay Bombers? Steve Hayes
Kyle Breida.
and Kyle Breida. Team shaping up. A lot of these teams super great so far. We'll go through all the teams at the end and maybe give some predictions here in the front office what we're going to be going through. Here we go. Group number 4. We are starting with Brett again. Brett, coming up with your new teammate, Evan Close.
All right.
Evan.
We go, Evan. The Freeze Pops.
The Freeze Pops. Is that your team?
Yeah, that's my team.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Evan.
New teammates now. Here we go.
I picked that 3 out of 4. I picked the Freeze Pops.
Not bad.
All right, coming up, Scott. Your next one is going to be for another one of Brett's new teammates is Matt Germer.
The Gurm.
The Germ. The 55ers. Germworm joins the 55ers. Jimmy Nelson, one of his teammates as well. Spencer, come on up. Next up is going to be Chris Overlord.
Hello, pesky pine trees.
Your cousin. That. Chris Overlord. Who's going to be on
The Hot Tub Club.
Hot Tub Club. Chris Overlord on the Hot Tub Club. Next up, we have Kevin, league founder, Kevin the K-Hawk Barefoot Wheatucker. Come up, Peter. Kevin Wheatucker will be joining
The Bombers.
the Bombay Bombers. Wheatucker joining Sam Skibby, 2 league founders on the same team. Kevin Wheatucker maybe bolstering that left hand for the relief pitching. Here we go. That means Jeremy Worrell will join the pesky pine tree. Jeremy Worrell is definitely a pesky pine tree. He is a tall man, and his let's play some ball is pesky. All right, which gives us to the last grouping. The last grouping starts with, and this is a big one, Keaton Adams, the only one with some experience. This could be a big pickup for a team here. And Brett, Keaton Adams. Freeze Pops. Keaton Adams will be joining.
Oh my gosh, the Freeze Pops! 4 out of 5.
That must have felt like the same.
Yeah, they got that Freeze Pops.
Okay, it actually is the only one that has a logo. So maybe you felt it.
It's a little heavier.
Keaton Adams joining the Freeze Pops. Here we go. Let's get back to it. The first rookie, Steve Edelman. Brother-in-law of Spencer Bogat, and in our fantasy baseball league as well. Steve Edelman will be joining
The 55ers.
55ers. Very good. 55ers, Steve Edelman. Next up, we have Cole Layton, who is the brother of Cam Smith. Cam Smith is on who, Peter? Freeze Pops, right?
Freeze Pops.
Never mind. So they cannot be together. So there you go. Cole Layton will be on. Cole Layton, an 8-time champion of the Yellow Bats League. Joining the hot tub club will be Cole Layton. And Peter, come on down. Or I believe it is Jacob Martin. Jacob Martin, a fraternity brother of me and Spencer and Gus and Ty in the SWBL League. Fraternity brother, lives in St. Louis, played Marquette baseball as well. Jacob Martin could be a big pickup for one of these 2 teams.
The Bombers again.
The Bombay Bombers. He joins myself on the Bombay Bombers. Here we go, the last one. Josh Rogers will be joining the pesky pine trees. So we welcome our 4 rookies into the summer league as well. Thank you so much to everybody. Peter, I'll let you come back up and let's go through all the teams. I'll pick a team for you and then we'll hold up the wiffle ball and then you tell me what team that is going to. Hot Tub Club, start with them.
Hey, Hot Tub Club, led by Brian Kinney, Patrick Gaddy, Scott Holy, Chris Oberlor, and Cole Layton.
Wow, very good. And if you you look at that team, obviously Brian Kenny is going to be huge for them in the field, as you know. But let's keep going to the next one. The 55ers, starting obviously with you yourself and 2 former MVPs in you and Blake. But who else joins your team?
Besides Peter and Blake, you got Jimmy Nelson, Matt Germer, and Steve Edelman.
Very good. This is going to be an interesting summer league to see how this plays out because there are a lot of great players in this league and some rookies to see how they all fall. Here we go. Freeze Pops.
Freeze Pops, certainly led by Ed Lodonin, featuring Cam Smith, Brett Spencer, Evan Close, and Keaton Adams.
Evan Close and Keaton Adams. Very good. Maybe a big hitting team there for sure.
Wow.
Bombay Bombers.
Steve Hayes, Kyle Breida, Sam Skibby, Kevin Wheatshucker, and Jacob Martin.
Jacob Martin, very good. The Bombay Bombers. And then the Pesky Pine Trees.
Pesky Pine Trees. Kevin Cooley, Kyle Cornell, Spencer Bogad, Jeremy Morrell, Josh Rogers.
All right, since you're up here, Peter, we'll just leave the rosters here for everybody to look at. We'll let everybody else kind of think about it as well. But who do you think is your front runner to get the #1 seed heading into playoffs? Let me get it. Remember, they're good double headers. You can't pick the same one, but this could be, and you can pick your team if you want to, or you can pick another team. But who do you think is going to be the #1 seed heading into playoffs in this Summer League 2020?
That's tough. I think they're initially. I see they're very fair, very balanced. I think everyone's got the pitching they need. I do. I'm drawn to the 55ers. I think about Steve Edelman. I hear he's pretty good. Good guy from the last round there. Jimmy Nelson and Blake can certainly do the pitching there. Blake's got some pretty solid numbers. And coming out here for Gurmworm, I would say.
All right, very good. So 55ers, and then we'll ask you a fun question too. Who's the worst team?
Oh yeah. I'm going to go with the Bombay Bombers.
Bombay Bombers.
Jacob Martin's scouting report wasn't too flattering. Steve Hayes, Kyle Breida, Sam. I mean, you got some good pitching there. Kevin Wheatshucker. You got to pick someone, Sam.
Yeah. I might even pick my team to get last as well. All right. Very good. Is there anybody different out there that wants to come up and say who they think is going to be the #1 team in Summer League? Scott's coming up now. Scott, take a look at these rosters and tell everybody, people out there, who you think is going to be the #1 seed heading into playoffs August 16th for the 2020 Summer League.
It's hard to go against the freeze pops. Ed Low-Downey is just a force on the wiffle ball field.
Yeah.
But they're definitely not going to be my #1.
No.
So I would probably, I think, the 55ers. But I think I'm going to go with the 55ers.
55ers.
Yeah.
Another 55ers. Wow, very good.
Yeah. And I would say, if you're going to ask me who the worst team is, I would probably, you know what? I'm going to switch that up. I'm going to go Freeze Pops 1. I'm just looking at Brett and Cam. I think they're going to be really good on the mound.
Evan and Keaton are great.
I agree with you.
Yeah. When they're at the plate, I think you can rely on Evan and Keaton for those two bottom ones there you have.
Yeah, and I would say probably the worst team would be the Bombay.
I'm sorry. Let's see what happens. All right, very good. And Brett, why don't you come up as well, and we'll talk. We'll get back talking to you, and tell me, Brett, when you look at all these teams and you see that every player has to bat, every player's got a bat. Every team has to play everybody in the field. Who do you think, based on these teams, going to get the most at bats? You got to think about, who's going to get the power numbers, who's going to play small ball when it comes to it. This is a different league. This isn't base running anymore. But who do you think is going to be a front runner for MVP? Just by looking at the rosters on who might get some more at bats, things like that. Who has the good team chemistry there? MVP candidate for you.
MVP. That's a tough one. I mean, if you take into account just hitting, you got to go with someone. I feel like you have to go with the 55ers. They have Blake and Peter at the top of that lineup.
Yeah.
But if you're including pitching, that brings into account I would go through
Pesky Pine Trees might be one of my favorites. I think they're a favorite too.
Thinking, maybe Kyle Cornell.
Kyle Cornell sneaking in there, yeah.
Pull one out right there. Sure. But MVP wise, that's a tough one. All the teams are so even that
the Bombay Bombers apparently.
Oh.
Just answer the question.
Just give it. Go here.
Go Kyle Cornell.
Jacob Martin.
Well, with Kyle Cornell with that one, with the Pesky Pine Trees. I'm pretty high on the Pesky Pine Trees as well. Kevin Foley, Kyle Cornell, Spencer Bogad, and Josh Rogers, who has plenty of experience in the football realm, and then Jeremy Worrell is getting better and better each year. So Pesky Pine Trees, and everybody's been right. This has been a pretty even matchups when it's coming down to it. Spencer, coming up, let's finish up with you. Coming up with this bright yellow shirt. Very nice. And Spencer, when you look at your team, the Pesky Pine Trees, who I was just talking about, Pesky Pine Trees, do you think that you guys are middle of the road, high end pitching, low end pitching, you and Kyle? Kyle, who has been very well known as one of the lowest ERA pitchers many times, and you kind of see yourself as maybe the Twins' number 2 behind Will, but most of the time number 1, 2, but number 3, okay, with Edlow, and who knows? But do you think who is going to be the best pitching team out of everybody that you see? So the depth, obviously there's 2 pitchers on each team that can handle the load, but there's also some teams that have an extra relief pitcher now and there too. But
Yeah, that's a good question. It's definitely not the Bombay Bombers. They're pretty bad. Just kidding. I'd probably go with probably the Freeze Pops. They got Cam, Brett, Edlow, Keaton.
Yeah.
Evan could even throw a couple innings. You never know.
Yeah, Keaton did great for the Astros last year, and I know that the Astros signed Cam and Olderman coming into this year, but Keaton is definitely going to be their number 3 on the mound, and definitely probably their number 3 here, unless you think it's going to be Edlow, which
I think Edlow's probably going to be their number 2.
Number 2, wow. After Cam, so Brett will be 4th probably. Yeah, that's right there. All right, so very good. Thank you so much again. Let's go through the teams one more time, Spencer. Give it out for everybody, just in case they didn't miss it. Start with Freeze Pops. Go ahead.
Every name?
Yeah.
Freeze Pops. Edlow, Cam, Brett Spencer, Evan Close, Keaton Adams, Bombay Bombers, Steve Hayes, Kyle Breida, Sam Skibby, Kevin Wiesjagger, Jacob Martin, Hot Tub Club, Brian Kenny, PG, Scott Poley, Chris Oberlor, Cole Layton, 55ers, Peter Light, Blake Spencer, Jimmy Nelson, Matt Germer, Steve Edelman, Pesky Pine Trees, Kevin Poley, Kyle Cornell, Spencer Bogat, Jeremy Worrell, Josh Rogers.
Very good. Thank you so much, Spencer. And what's going to happen is right after starting tomorrow, I will get a schedule going. I will put this together and I will send it to each team. Each player on each team will get an email from me, the email you provided during registration. And I will make sure that every team has that. And there's no captains, so everybody's just going to have to rely on their own selves. If you want to start a text thread with each other, that way you can make sure you guys have the people that are going to be there. But Sunday from 12:30 to 3:30, make sure you're available. We got 4 games going on. If you are not going to be at one of the games, please make sure to text one of your players so they know if they only have 4 players. Also, if you want to fill a position, we have free agents as well. If anybody's in town and somebody wants to play, we're going to do a $5 free agent fee since there are going to be 4 weeks of it all. So if they want to pay $5 and you want to pay that as a team or you want to have them pay it to come on out, they can do that too. I know Gus is going to be coming in town one of the weeks. And if anybody needs a team, he'll pay the $5 and he will join one of those teams as well. So, hey, that's it for me. Thank you so much, Spencer Bogat, Scott Poley, Peter Light, and our new front office member, Brett Spencer. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to all of our sponsors. We're so excited to get SWBL Summer League into action. So see you on July 5th. We'll be live streaming some games, and we'll have game video up afterwards. Thank you for joining us for the SWBL live draft for teams in Summer League.
Who's Timothy Bird?
I don't know, but it's